Thousands of people gathered together for the funeral of Lucy Dee, the mother of the British sisters who were brutally murdered in a terrorist attack last week. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu decided to close the Temple Mount for the remainder of Ramadan due to security concerns. And a video of just one example of why many Palestinian-Arabs hate the Jewish people so much. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's good to be back here with you today. First off, you know what to do. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or follow us wherever you're watching on Rumble podcast platforms. Also, make sure to like this video, share our content wherever you can, so that it can reach more and more people with the truth of what is actually happening in the land of Israel. There's a lot of fake news coming out of Israel every single day. So if you would do your part and just help us to share our content across all social media platforms. Also, we're on the major social media platforms. Make sure to go check us out there. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Really helps us out. Guys, if you hear rain during the show, it's because it's raining here in Israel. You can probably hear it on the tin roof above me. It's kind of late in Israel for rain at this point, but any rain that Israel can get is great. So if you hear that, you know what it is during the show. So Netanyahu decided to close the Temple Mount for the remainder of Ramadan. Now, why did he do this? First off, this happens pretty much every year. They decided to close the Temple Mount for the last 10 days of Ramadan, although this year there were several Knesset members trying to push forward that, no, we don't need to close the Temple Mount, such as Ben-Gvir, who was trying to push forward that we don't need to close the Temple Mount. But Netanyahu, he basically caved to the idea that by stopping Jewish visits on the Temple Mount, there may be a chance to calm the tensions that have been going on up there. You've heard a lot in the news probably about the riots that have been happening in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, or even about how the Israeli police is going into the mosque and they're just beating innocent civilians and disrupting the peaceful worship that has been going on up there. So Netanyahu, maybe he's trying to calm the tensions, not allow anyone up there except Muslims, breaking the status quo. By the way, this is breaking the status quo by not allowing people of other religions, beliefs, Christians, Jews to worship on the Temple Mount, and only allow Muslims to allow Christians and Jews to go up on the Temple Mount. They're not allowed to worship, but it's breaking the status quo by not allowing them to go up, even if they're not allowed to worship. Muslims are the only ones who are allowed to worship. Netanyahu rejected Ben-Gvir's idea that there was no reason not to allow Jews to ascend the Temple Mount on the 7th day of Passover. Netanyahu's office stated that the decision was made, quote, on the unanimous recommendation of the defense minister, the IDF chief of staff, the director of the ISA, and the Israel police inspector general. Also, by the way, on a side note, Netanyahu announced the other day that Yoav Gallant would remain the defense minister, which is bad in my opinion. Yoav Gallant is a nut. He has very far left-leaning policies, so I'm not sure why Netanyahu was deciding to keep him as defense minister, but he announced that the other day. As I said before, for all of Ramadan, the Muslims have had almost unlimited access on the Temple Mount. Yet for them, this is not enough. They want it absolutely Jew-free on the Temple Mount, or anybody else free on the Temple Mount besides Muslims. They want only Muslim worship on the Temple Mount. They want to break the status quo and only have Muslims up on the Temple Mount. They don't want any other people of other religions or beliefs on the Temple Mount. Of course, Ben-Gvir blasted this decision by Netanyahu. He said this, quote, the Prime Minister's decision to close the Temple Mount to Jews due to the wave of terrorism is a serious mistake that will not bring quiet, but may only escalate the situation. The absence of Jews on the Temple Mount will automatically lead to the dilution of the police forces on the Mount, which will create fertile ground for huge demonstrations of incitement to murder Jews, and even a scenario of throwing rocks at Jewish worshippers at the Western Wall. When terrorism strikes us, we must strike back with tremendous force, not surrender to it and its whims. He's right here. It has happened before, by the way, that rocks have been thrown over the Temple Mount onto worshipers at the Temple Mount. I mean, at the Western Wall, which could be a bad scenario, could injure people of all faiths and religions coming to worship at the Western Wall. Also, what he said about having fewer police up on the Temple Mount is true, because it could, in a way, create room for more violence. Like, the whole reason that the Israeli police, I talked about this last week, but the whole reason that the Israeli police went into the Al-Aqsa Mosque was not to be innocent civilians, not to go in and disrupt peaceful Muslim worshippers, but they actually went in to restore calm. They went in to arrest the rioters who were stopping their fellow Muslims from worshiping on the Temple Mount. They went in to restore order and actually allow peaceful Muslim worship on the Temple Mount, contrary to what the mainstream anti-Israel media was reporting and what myriads of social media users were reporting. I think it's horrible, sad that the Muslims are basically doing whatever they want. They're basically getting what they want. It's like children who are begging their parents for whatever they want, and the parents are finally caving in. Netanyahu is caving in, and he's allowing them basically to do whatever they want, and he's caving to the violent protests that have been happening, and he shut down the Temple Mount for the remainder of Ramadan. We just ended the holiday of Passover here in Israel, a holiday that celebrates the redemption of the Jewish people from slavery. The question is, if people are struggling to put food on the table, how can they celebrate the festival of freedom? Over 2.6 million Israelis live in poverty. Nearly 1.2 million of them are children, which is 38% of all children in Israel. Mayor Panim runs multiple programs to help Israel's needy, including restaurant-style soup kitchens, a dignified alternative to traditional soup kitchens, providing warm meals to impoverished Israelis in a comfortable dining setting. But many struggling Israelis can't take time off their multiple jobs in order to pick up food from one of the 5 branches across Israel. To ensure that families, especially children, do not go hungry, Mayor Panim distributes monthly grocery packages to those in need. In this Passover season, you can give Israel's needy the freedom they have been longing for by donating monthly grocery packages. Link is in the description below. So on Tuesday afternoon, thousands of people gathered together in Gush Etzion for the funeral of Lucy, or Leah Dee, who was killed in the terrorist attack last Friday. As you all know by now, you've seen it in the news, I'm sure, there was a horrific, horrible terror attack that happened last Friday, in which 2 British sisters, we will say their names, Maya and Rina Dee, were killed, and their mother, Lucy Dee, was mortally injured. On Monday, a few days later, she succumbed to her wounds in the hospital and passed away. And then on Tuesday afternoon, thousands of people gathered together to show their support, show their respect for Lucy Dee. And they gathered together in Gush Etzion for the funeral. There were many people who made speeches. I watched part of the live stream. It's very emotional to see all the people giving speeches, honoring her life, honoring her as a person. I want to play a short clip of her husband, Rabbi Leo Dee's speech at the funeral. He's a very strong man who made a very great speech. I want to play a short clip here.
We would go to in a frat. Lucy, you wanted me to make you a special speech at your 50th birthday. And now this. Lucy, you were a great companion for everyone, but for me, you were my best friend. We were each other's. We literally traveled the world together. We made Aliyah together. We built a new life for ourselves in the Promised Land. You would frequently say that you couldn't imagine living anywhere else, nor could I, even now, especially now.
Guys, Luke talked about this the other day, but one way that you can show your support for the Dee family who are grieving and who are suffering heartache at this time, on Tuesday after his wife passed away, Rabbi Leo Dee posted this message / request online. He said this, quote, "If you feel that it was wrong to shoot dead at close range 3 beautiful, innocent young ladies in the prime of their lives, then please post a picture of you or your spouse or your children with an Israeli flag. Or just post a picture of an Israeli flag and share it on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever social media app you use. Guys, let's absolutely do this. This is a great way to show your support for the Dee family who are suffering at this time. Just, if you can't take a picture of yourself or your friends, just post a picture of an Israeli flag online to social media. Show your support for the Dee family. Show your support for the nation of Israel who are going through a rough time. Guys, moving along, there was an attempted terror attack in the community of Alon Moreh here in Samaria. Alon Moreh is about 15 minutes from where we are here on the Mount of Blessing. There's not a lot of details out about this yet, but it looks like on Tuesday afternoon, 2 terrorists tried to open fire on the community. I'm not sure if it was at the entrance or whatever, but thankfully they were neutralized by the IDF, and an M16 assault rifle and a pistol were found on both of them. Thank God no one was hurt in this attack. Could have been worse. Thankfully, God was watching over his people that no one was injured here. Guys, I'm going to wrap up here, but I want to play one video and show you just one example of why so many Palestinian Arabs hate the Jewish people so much, why they want to see them wiped off the face of the map and pushed into the sea, and why terrorism is so rampant in Israel right now. This is from Memory TV, the Palestinian Authority TV. They aired this musical. It's encouraging Palestinians to fight the enemy in all of Israel with machine guns, RPGs, daggers, and bombs. This is absolutely atrocious, guys. Just check this out for yourself. Yep, that was very disturbing if you ask me. I'm not sure what you thought about it, but this is what we're up against, guys. Terrorism is rampant in Israel right now, and a lot of it is because of their being brainwashed from a young age to hate Israel, to hate the Jewish people, and they're growing up with this idea that they can't live alongside the Jewish people, that the Jewish people must be wiped off the face of the map and the state of Israel be pushed into the sea. They want to take over the whole entire land of Israel. Guys, remember, please show your respect and support for the Dee family and the nation of Israel by posting a photo of an Israeli flag today. It'd be great if you can get a picture with an Israeli flag to post on social media. Make sure to subscribe and get the conversation going down below. Let us know what you think about the current situation in Israel, or just comment your support for the Dee family or for the nation of Israel. And as always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening in the land of Israel. We'll be back every Monday through Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.